Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Amuse Jester. My name is Junior. Today we're going to take a look at Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified's Cobra Nemesis Immortal. Or, in my mind, I just keep thinking it's Nemesis Enforcer. But let's see what's going on. Here's the front of the box. Pretty cool artwork over here. I gotta admit though, I still see it as he was in the cartoon. So this new take, which I think they're saying it's from the new comic book series. Um, it's a cool take on it, but yeah, it takes getting used to. So let me open it up and we'll take a quick look. All right, now that he's out of the box, let's see, where am I gonna start? So first off, you probably know that this retailed for $45. I bought it from Hasbro Pulse. Let's it's a very striking figure. I haven't played with it. I've just put it out here, and just the figure itself, it's very imposing. So I think we're gonna start with the head sculpt as I usually do. So that head sculpt, look at that face printing going on over there. It's not just the eyes or the lips. The makeup he has around his eyes is pretty cool too. Like the face just jumps out of you, out of that whole head, because the whole head is actually not painted. It's just bare plastic. So that head is very striking. So while I have it close up, let's go ahead and take a look at the detail on this guy. Look at the texturing, and it's like very minimal painting, but what's there does stand out. So I believe the bare plastic color is a purple. So this dark purple, the red, the silver, this deep violet, I guess. Then they have a wash going on in this. So this does look like some sort of a hard shell. And then this, it's a good enough paint job, so it kind of evokes like the bone structure. Actually, this stands out more than anything else in this figure, because maybe, and it's not because it's white, because this is kind of white, but it's got a wash. This is too clean compared to this part right here, which is slightly washed. I think that's why this is standing out way too much. Then you have more texturing going on. This, yeah, it's really kind of imposing. Imposing is what I would use. The only thing is, like, it's really heavy and kind of massive, so it does kind of jiggle, as you can see. Here's the extra head. Now I'm like conflicted because I'm not used to this head design, but it's admittedly might fit more of the design of the whole character than the original head. There's one of the two swords that's coming with it. It does have some texturing going on along the blade. So again, this one feels more like a bone typed weapon. Just a little bit lacking on the paint on the white. But other than that, yeah, it's still pretty good. And then you have this claw. That's pretty cool. Claw-like hunt handle. Then it comes with a two-fisted hands over here. I'll do that later. And let's take a look at this wing over here really quickly. So this is like that, and that exposes the joint. And look, you can see it's translucent, this plastic. It's a separate piece from this. Trying to determine where it separates from this part. I think it's connected somewhere over here. So I'm only mentioning that because I cannot tell the difference in the paint job from this spot to this spot. This is actually quite amazing how they did this. Unless this whole thing is translucent plastic and they just painted this. That might be the case because there's a slight discrepancy on these two. So I'm assuming this whole joint was cast in translucent plastic and then they repainted it. So you can barely tell there's a difference between the two. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with how good it looks or how they did it. I'm just amazed at how they did it. And it does look good because you cannot tell which part is which. And so I think the paint job they did on this one's really good too. Might as well mess around with the articulation while we're here. So there's a rotation there. There's a butterfly joint going on here. Not a lot. And this one's just an up and down with a rotation. Yes. It does have rotation there. Okay. Then of course you have this bat furry thing going on in the back. Okay, so let me comment on this one really quickly because this evokes what it was like in the toy. And I've got to tell you, when I first bought my Nemesis Immortal back in the day, and it had this in the back, I was kind of disappointed. Not underwhelmed, just pure out disappointed because that's not the way Nemesis Enforcer looked in the cartoon. He had a wingspan. And I can appreciate the effort they made to kind of evoke how he looked like in a toy form way back then. But this is just wrong because the figure is very, very imposing. And what you're getting here seems like a bad effort. If they were going to do that, at least go all the way and make it longer, thicker. That way it's a lot more menacing. As it is right now, it's just, it doesn't look good to me. You know what I mean? It's just, it looks out of place. So let's put the wingspan, that's how it should be, and we just plug it in. So at first I thought I was going to be disappointed because it does only peg in using this peg. I thought, man, with how big this wingspan is, I thought for sure it was going to be something that kept falling off. But at least with my copy, it's very, very sturdy. So let me talk about what I think of the overall figure. Well, let me put on the head first. Now, I first said I still think of this guy as Nemesis Enforcer. I think the name is just way cooler than Nemesis Immortal. But and this head is how Nemesis Enforcer looked. But I just feel like this head fits more of the overall design than the first one. Now, the other thing too is these wings, again, they don't conform to the design of the original cartoon because in the cartoon, his wings, let me just spread it out. How far can I spread this out? So it looks like the articulation can go up that high. His wings should have been massive. Like this should be wings here and then wings here. And I'm kind of disappointed that you don't have that with this figure. Look. So you have the massive figure over here, and then you have again, what it feels like a spindly part. The wing just looks too small, just like this one looked too small. Um, and like they said, is that this is supposed to be from the new current G.I. Joe comics, which I've never read, and so I don't have any connection to that. Um, so I don't know. It's just I want to try out and see if the Venom wings can be used, but I just don't see how, if this can be removed, and if this has the same same the size as the ball joint on the Venom wings. And I have that in storage, and I can't get access to my storage right now, so I can't test it out and see. So that's going to be for a future consideration. So how big is this figure? Well, here's Gung Ho, which was the biggest figure in the G.I. Joe line. And let me bring out one of the grunts that I got from Ross. Sorry. Which is a regular sized G.I. Joe. So he is the biggest figure we've gotten from the G.I. Joe classified lines. And as much as I don't like how the wings look, I do like the design update they've made on the character. Even though I don't have any connections to the comics, it's a very, very imposing figure that's kind of been let down by the design of the wings, I think. Um, yeah, even in the back, it just seems like an afterthought. So, in terms of articulation, the head is limited by that bony structure over here. And I would be careful just holding onto it because it's sharp enough to be uncomfortable. That's pretty much it. So the head, I would say the head is kind of static. Now this is attached using this thing over here that's connected to the shoulder. So it should have enough give, but only up to that, because then that connection is hitting the shoulder. It does have a butterfly joint that allows you to do that kind of a movement. It does have a double biceps, which mine is stiff over there, so I'm not going to force it. Let me see. Yeah, I can kind of protect it by doing it this way. So that much of an articulation range. This is rubbery, so you don't have to be worried about it breaking off. The hands go side to side and up and down. So you have this movement on the upper torso and then this movement on the waist. Really nice sculpt work over there. For the legs, it does have a drop down that would increase your range. I think that's pretty good enough as it is, almost horizontal or 90 degrees. And you do have the double knees. Again, all these sharp edges, you just got to be careful. It does have double knees, right? But it's just really stiff on mine too, so. Oh, that is really stiff in there. There. Yeah, so pretty good range on the knees and lower leg as well. Really nice detail on the calves over there. Sideways, pretty good for something so bulky. And the ankle, man, this figure is all sorts of stiff. The ankle, it's kind of, look at that. The way it's sculpted, that's not gonna move up, right? I don't know. I think that's pretty much range. Then because of this sculpt over here, that's, I don't know, man. I think the sculpt is the one that's preventing it from moving any more up. See? It's gonna get stuck by that one, and then it's gonna get stuck by that one. So what's the point of doing that articulation? You still have the swivel. I might be wrong. You might want to look at some other reviews because this might still go up and down, but I just really doubt it though. Yeah. Anyway, so this is cool like that. Man, okay, that goes all the way down there. And like that. So there you go. Final thoughts on Nemesis Immortal. A very, very imposing figure. A bit lackluster on the wings part and also on the snake back. It doesn't have a lot of accessories. It just has these two extra hands, and the extra head. But I feel accessories is just enough to complete the figure. So it's pretty good. I would say maybe the value is equal to the price that I paid. I think what could have made it an awesome figure was if the wingspan had been like fully decked out wingspan, and if this had been a little bit more imposing to match the figure. That's all basically my review is. I will also like to add that even though I'm disappointed by the size of the wings, the reason why I think the value is 10 equal to the price of 10 is that because of how it was marketed, I knew going in that the wings look a little too small for how the figure is represented. So I knew I knew what I was receiving going into the product. Now, if it had been a surprise, then I would have lowered the value because of the surprise. It's just I knew coming in that the wings looked too small, and maybe there was an option of customizing the wings by replacing it. But that's all on me. So I feel like what I got is exactly what I looked at and what I was expecting. That's why I felt like I got what I got what I paid for. But other than that, I mean, it's gonna go with my Serpentor. And now we need Globulus, and what was that female's name? Yeah, I hope they do those two justice and don't skimp out. I know $45. Uh, would I be willing to pay $60 if the wingspan had been big and this had been imposing? I think I would have been. Like if this had been a really proper big wingspan and then these were being a little bit more massive, I think I would have been willing to pay $60. Which is kind of crazy for me to say. But this figure is just so freaking awesome that I feel like they didn't do it justice with these. And I do hope that with Globulus, because the snake part is what's gonna make that thing. I just hope they do it justice. And then of course the female body is just a female body, but I hope they make it look good. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys again soon on my next review, and have a nice day.